You know what time it is. If you hear that beat, you hear that sick beat, baby. This is a goddamn nightmare. This is Coprolalia, the podcast that says yes. Let's welcome Giles to the show, everybody. Put your hands together for Giles.
Long time listener, first time caller.
This is we're going to start doing intros and actually try and up the quality of this podcast, so that it's actually listenable and enjoyable for anyone but Connor and ourselves. So this is a podcast hosted by myself and Giles. We're a couple of artsy-fartsy lads that do all kinds of fancy pantsy things over on Instagram and other places. And this is the podcast where we listen to Pamphlet for an hour.
And talk about feelings.
Of which we have few.
Yeah, I've shoved them so far down into my soul.
Giles, why don't we just dive into our first topic then?
Yep. Let's do it.
So I started re-watching Spider-Man, the original series, by whichever director directed it, who everyone quite enjoys. People speak very highly. So was it?
Sam Raimi.
Sam Raimi.
He did the Evil Dead series, and he's done some stuff. I'm just quickly Googling this.
Yeah, I'm diving in. What? There's a Spider-Man movie from 1969. It's an unauthorized fan film. Okay, that's fine. So the original one from 2002, I believe it was. Yes, 2002, starring old Tobey Maguire.
Yes.
Tobey Maguire. Do you like Tobey Maguire?
Yes, I do. I think he's the best Spider-Man so far.
Oh yeah, I quite like the new one. I think he's a good boy.
You think he's a good boy?
He suits the source material quite well, I think. He's just a weedy little nerdy little dude.
Dude, he's white.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Tobey Maguire spells his name wrong. His name's Tobias.
What? He spells his name wrong.
It spells it with a Tobey. Where's that extra E creeping in? Don't like it. Get rid of it.
So his friends can call him Tobey.
His real name isn't Toby anyway, so he did add that. Son of a bitch.
So he was choosing a fake name and he misspelt the fake name.
Same as Willem Dafoe, who is also in that fucking movie as the Green Goblin.
Yeah.
But Willem Dafoe, his name's not Willem, it's William. And he just dropped the fucking Y. And I ask, I. He dropped the I. I ask why.
No, because it's EM as well. So he's actually changed the A and the I. He's changed them into an E. Yeah. So it's a very strange spelling.
I find it really funny though, like that movie, Spider-Man 1, which we're going to get into in a second, before we just annihilate these actors for their bullshit names. His name's Tobias. Anyway, but both amazing actors.
Tobias, whoa.
Yeah, Tobias.
No, Tobias?
That makes more sense. Tobias. Tobey Maguire, Willem Dafoe, and who's the other guy that plays...
Tobey and Tobias.
Tobey and William. That's the way.
Sorry, say your question again.
I'm just going through the cast.
Yeah, good one.
Who's the who's the guy that does the J.K. Simmons? There he is. Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, he nails that character.
Absolutely. Well, this is my point, is that those three people, and Kirsten Dunst, she's got many fine acting moments and talents, and but yeah, Toby, Willem, J.K., all amazing actors, and they all do a lot of stuff on Broadway, as far as I'm aware.
Good.
And yet they're
It
all
makes
in
them better people.
Spiderman.
So you don't.
Yep.
Did you think Toby didn't pull it off?
Toby always looks like he's about to cry, and I find that distracting.
That's fair. Because he does cry. He does. He's not afraid to cry. He's a sensitive.
There's nothing wrong with crying. I
sensitive,
just don't like
sort of
being on the verge of
weak-looking-
tears constantly. There's a couple of actors
and also
that do it.
the narrative they gave Toby with MJ is a little bit weird because he's always saying like he's been obsessing over her for like years and years and years. It's just not a healthy behavior.
That's a common theme in like a lot of literature. I don't know if I want to put Spider-Man under the literature banner, but there you go. Common theme amongst like comic books and all kind just literature. I already said it. But of like obsessing over one girl and like this idea of true love, like she just keep at it, keep hounding her. She'll eventually get you. It'll all work out in the end. Which is of course called stalking, primarily.
Yeah, and obsession in general. If you're not physically stalking, like he was just going to school with her, and she also lives next door. So,
in fact,
not.
Let's both talk at once. Why don't we do that?
So it's not really stalking because he's just in proximity.
Yeah.
You were meant to keep talking as well.
If you hang on. Let's have a little drinky. If you are obsessing over someone, especially like if obsessing over someone who he's not intimate with, because that's also kind of supposed to be a romantic thing, is you obsess over your loved one, which I don't know if that's even healthy, really.
No.
Because then if they leave you, dealing with loss is gonna be almost impossible if you've taken it out of reality.
Yeah,
You know what I'm talking about?
And if you place the narrative that it's meant to be, it's like it forces a person into a certain role.
Yeah, absolutely.
Of like savior or something.
The idea, like, it's just saying to one another, like, we're gonna stay together forever and ever is probably very dangerous. And it means also you'll probably fight for dangerous things, like if there is abuse, it's probably if you've believed that in your entire life that you're going to stay with the same person for your entire life, and then you get into an abusive relationship, be it physical or verbal, then it's going to be a lot harder to tell yourself, no, I need to get out. Like there's going to be already you've constructed this conflicting narrative in your head.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean,
it's going deep analysis of Spiderman.
Web spinner man.
Spin that win, baby.
What do you think about the superhero renaissance that we're going through at the moment?
I mean, it's just a cash grab for the most part, right? But
I think some people really do feel like they're glad that the comic books are finally getting movies made. But I don't think they're doing the comics justice, or I don't know.
Yeah, to a degree, but also you can't. I don't think you can't condense a comic book, especially a comic book series that's been running for fucking like 45 years plus, into a 2-hour long film and technically do it justice, like to all the fans.
Yeah,
No one's gonna be happy. But they are absolutely that's almost what this is what blockbuster cinema was made to do. Like,
true,
is to make over the top, stupid, fun, drama turned up to 11 superhero films.
Does that mean blockbuster is just intrinsically flawed to be simple, or like it's bound to be simple? I guess is what I'm saying.
It probably makes more sense because you're putting so much money on the line to make these movies happen. So those are probably the film. If you're going to put that much money into a film, you probably should be making a film that's absurd and just fun, and everyone's just there to have a good time.
Well, see, that's how I feel about the Spider-Man movies.
Yeah.
Whereas I don't feel that about, say, Thor or Captain America.
Yeah, totally.
Justice League movies, Batman vs Superman. They don't seem fun. It's like, in fact, Zack Snyder with Batman v Superman is trying to make all of these allegories to the Bible. That's just not funny to me. It's not fun.
All right, yeah. So I think this is the issue, and we've touched on this before on the podcast. That the biggest mistake you can make with anything like this, be it a film, be it a game, be it a book, be it fucking anything, is confuse what you're trying to do halfway through, or flip between different tones without a reason to. And I think this is my problem with, and this is a problem with a lot of people's problem with these bigger blockbuster movies, is choosing if they're going to be dark and moody and serious, or if they're going to be a light-hearted romp through a comic book. And better examples, is the original Spider-Man, definitely more comic booky. The new Spider-Man as well, I think that's a good example of, like, it's just a comic book movie. It's supposed to be silly and fun. But then you take The Dark Knight. Now that's taking a comic book and doing the Dark Knight version, so the dark twist on it, and it works. It makes sense, and that it worked as a serious film.
I think so too. In fact, I thought The Dark Knight was great.
Yeah,
I thought that was super interesting. And,
it was great outside of just being a superhero film, which is what I wanted to be.
Well, yeah, no, like they had the opportunity to use Batman as the structure to investigate those archetypes, and also the portrayal of like a city that's just completely corrupted by its I don't know, it's corrupted by its greed. I don't know, I thought that was cool.
Hey,
it's a Joel. I think we have a thing for you. What was the thing? You just hold up there. There it is.
I thought we were gonna make like another one.
Yeah, we're gonna make a whole bunch of things, but I keep not doing that.
Are you guys getting feedback at all from me?
Sounds a little strange.
Yeah, I'm not using my normal headset. Should I put my headset on? I'm just doing stuff to my room.
Yes. For the purpose of the quality of the podcast, yes.
10 seconds, please.
All right.
No worries, man.
Anyway, okay, so you enjoyed the first Spider-Man. Let's get back on track.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I can definitely say I enjoyed it. However, like they're not masterpieces.
No, not in the slightest.
But I find the Spider-Man movies to be fun, and I think Tobey Maguire makes a good nerdy guy.
Yep. It's so soft though. And I don't mean that as in like he is a soft character. He physically looks really soft to me. There's a couple of moments like when they're picking him up off the train, like he's stuck his arms out and held the train back from going over the edge, and they all are like picking him up, and he just looks like a little marshmallow. Like He's a little
nerdy photographer, man. That's what he is.
He's supposed to be ripped.
And Spider-Man's meant to be like a socially awkward, nerdy teen.
Yeah. That's why I like the new one.
Nah. Homecoming.
Man, I gotta keep up with fucking movies.
Nah, don't worry about
Yeah, you don't have to.
It's not important.
I haven't watched anything in so long. Everyone's like, have you seen Game of Thrones? I'm like, I haven't watched that shit since season fucking 2.
It's funny that we get so grumpy at people, though, when they haven't seen shit. And I did it today, and I fucking hate when people do it to me, so I feel bad for the person I did it to. But if you say to someone like, "Oh, have you seen this film?" They go, "No." Like, but it's this film. How can you not have seen this one film? Sure, there was like 93 blockbuster films released last year, and there's probably like 3,000 independent films. But this is the big one. This is the one you had to see. I was talking about Mad Max Fury Road, and I was kind of like,
Oh, well, yeah.
I haven't seen it.
oh, Jesus.
It's a must see.
Come on, mate.
I love the Mad Max movies too. I don't know. I haven't seen it.
It's just so... Oh, okay, whatever. Anyway, mind-blowingly good.
I just don't have good internet.
Go rent it. If you've got a video shop in Castlemaine, the one
Yeah, but-
town that still has
dude,
one.
Alright.
Do you have a...
Story time.
Yeah, cool. Alright.
Alright. Me and Amber broke up. Woo. And then I left all the DVDs I rented at her house. And I'm never going back to that store again because they're going to make me pay a big fine.
Oh, dear.
Was it Videoland?
Yeah.
Because
They swapped owners, but they still asked me for the fucking show.
Oh. Nice. I'm curious about Confest, by the way.
Ooh. Dude, it was heckers.
Cool.
So yeah,
Definitely very overwhelming.
for the listeners who don't know, Confest is a conference / festival, like alternative lifestyle sort of.
You get naked.
Yeah, there's a lot of nudity, and it's. I haven't been at all, so I think Joel should explain it.
Do you want me to explain it now?
Yes.
Yeah, give it a go. Give it a go.
Welcome to the podcast, Joel.
That's alright. Sorry, I'm pretty high. Yeah.
Forgiven.
Just imagine it's like a normal festival, but without music. And everyone's real nice and happy. And they just want to have a
like
good
it.
talk.
Real talk's nice.
You just chill
How did you go with your flow arts?
Oh,
Some
dude,
stuff.
it was very tiring, but very rewarding.
You got the fire out?
Oh yeah, we're spinning fire every night.
Crazy world.
Yeah, we were running the fire circle, so we had to stick around. And when the circle started dying out down, we had to run in there and spin our own props, so people would stay around and would engage and be like, "Fucking spin, cunt," and they'd be like,
I have a rant about Spider-Man.
Do
I
it.
think.
Let's do that.
"Yeah."
Alright. So, Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, the holy grail of Spider-Man. He like starts producing web, right?
Yeah.
It's like some gooey weird shit that grows in his wrist that he squeezes out through a hole.
Yeah.
And his skin has tiny little hairs on it that allow him to walk, like crawl up walls.
Yeah.
And I think that's more interesting than him just being a super strong kid who's smart enough to make the technology that turns him into a spider.
Yeah.
So why did he want to be a spider guy in the new one?
Yeah, that... okay, I don't know about the new one, but actually that it did come to mind when I was watching the first one recently. I was like, okay, so he couldn't see like at all. He had really bad eyesight, demonstrated by a couple of little blurry shots before he puts his glasses on, and then he gets bitten by a spider, and he's totally fine. He doesn't need glasses anymore. He can also shoot web. Amazing stuff that could be used for all kinds of shit. And also he is now buff in one night. It is astoundingly irresponsible to not take that information back to the scientists and say, hey, we could cure all bad eyesight for everyone on the globe if we figure out what happened to me. Because it wasn't his fault. He wasn't going to get in trouble if he went and said, hey, your spider bit me. They're like, well, fuck you. Like, their spider bit him. They would be in trouble if anything. But he is accidentally an amazing test subject for what this spider can do for people.
Did did the laboratory that they're visiting in the
Yep.
high school trip when he gets bitten, is that related to the Green Goblin's company?
I don't think so.
Maybe
But-
that's in the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man.
How
Yeah.
many people wrote
Yes.
Spider-Man?
There's been at least 3
Yeah.
movie series, like reboots, I guess.
Yeah. 3 blockbuster reboots. There's a couple of other fan films and stuff like that.
As
You know
for-
what I
as-
hate about that shit? Like, why the fuck do you have to make a movie 3 fucking times?
Money,
They
baby.
think they're getting it better, but yeah, money. Yeah.
Yeah, but fuck that. Just like, I don't know, do something different. Why would you want to like go through your life being like, yeah, look, I made heaps of money off someone else's fucking idea already. I just remade it.
Yeah.
Do you need us to break down capitalism for you real quick?
Maybe. I live in the middle of the bush, so I don't really understand any of that.
Basically, when the going's good, you don't sort of care who's getting.
Going.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of people out there who are so willing to profit off of other people's ideas. There's like a number of big musicians who just had their soul crushed by their manager, just running away with all of their money.
Mm.
There was someone on the Poi chat not long ago. Someone in Germany was trying to, is it patent pending?
Oh yeah, to patent
They were trying to
something.
patent pending like a way of making poi for some reason.
Oh yeah,
The
yeah.
lawyers were just like, what? No.
That's
Yeah, damn.
rampant. That kind of shit's rampant. Cadbury tried to patent their particular shade of purple.
How the fuck do you say that a color is yours?
Well, with just big bucks and big lawyers, but they failed. Like that one
Yeah.
didn't go through. But that kind of shit just happens all the time. Is like companies just throwing patents at the wall, seeing what will stick, and then they get to make money
Yeah.
off it. Like there's all kinds of
It's
shit
like,
where
let's
people
do this one, man.
there's all kinds of shit where companies will have like a particular phrase or word that they want to make money off, and they'll just kind of try and copyright it and try and sue people who even say it. Oh, actually, here's a bloody good
Yeah.
example. The Super Bowl. You can't say the word Super Bowl when you're talking about the Super Bowl, and I guess this
Can you get
this
sued
particular
now for saying
podcast
that?
might be taken down because we've said it.
You should bleep that with the duck noise,
Yeah.
so people just hear. You can't say. "Brr."
That was not it. Where is it? Yeah, that one. bit late. Yeah, like so. Come Super Bowl season, you'll hear it. You'll see it on all your favorite web content. If anyone mentions it, because it's all over America, it's such a huge deal. But no one will say the word Super Bowl. It's fucking mental.
Okay. So that like, on channels that aren't the channel that hosts the Super Bowl, it's like a trademarked thing.
What is happening?
Yeah, what is that?
There's just so much noise.
I just pulled my headset out and I was putting it into a different USB port.
All right, so
Nice. It sounded
well-
like a big machine was starting up.
we'll might have to do a little bit of editing for this one.
So,
No, it's fine, man.
we're doing a podcast, Bob. Get out! Leave! Get out of my room!
Let's get her on the podcast. Let's see what her thoughts are on
Can you say
Spider-Man
hello
1.
to everyone?
Hey guys, how are you?
G'day.
I'm good, thank you.
I'm also well.
Get out of here, Mum.
Good content. So, you know what? I'm done with Spider-Man 1. That's our long form review of Spider-Man 1.
All right,
Jesus, this-
Spider-Man 2 now.
Yeah.
Has
Is
this
that the
whole
octopus one?
yeah,
Yeah.
it is. That's way better in my opinion. Way better. Spider-Man 1 was garbage. Not garbage.
Honestly,
Yeah.
I don't know how you create a machine like that.
The spine thing, the big spine octopus thing.
Yeah, like,
It's totally dangerous. Messing with your spinal cord like that.
I don't know how you'd be able to move that many limbs. Though. I'd be so confused. I'd just be like, yep.
Yes, I agree.
It uses AI. The whole point is like those things that have a mind of their own, and there's a chip at the top that's called the inhibitor chip, and it keeps them under his control. That's how he can control them.
So it's like AI assisted rather than just purely signals from his nervous system moving them around.
Yeah.
All right.
Wait, is it jacked into his spine?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
It's gross.
Oh yeah, it's fucking. I would never do that.
Never mind. I was just gonna, this is a very nice technical analysis of these movies. Anyway. One thing I wanted to talk about, which actually kind of tied into before when you were saying that audiences are hard to please with comic book movies, is I was with the big hype about Ready Player One.
Oh man!
So first of all,
I've actually seen that, so we can talk about that if you want.
Sweet, I haven't seen it, but I would love to.
It was originally a book written about basically like a VR online universe called the Oasis that sort of replaces everyday life. So you can live in a slum, but you spend most of your time. You can even go to school in the VR in the Oasis, and it's about a kid essentially like bringing himself out of poverty through his understanding of video game Easter eggs and like his studying of the guy who created it, who made this big competition where he could win all of the stocks, all of the money that the Oasis made by finding some keys. That's my rundown of it.
Now tell me from the book. Have you read the book?
No,
yeah,
I don't read.
Yeah,
books.
Actually, I don't know why I expected you to read that. I definitely haven't read it. I haven't read a book in like 45 years.
Comics are nice to read.
They're quick. And pretty pictures. No, I do. Yeah, there's a few books I like, but
when I read books, I just forget what happened fucking like 2 sentences ago. I'm just like, okay, cool, we're in a room and he's done something. Oh wait, this lady's saying something. Okay. Oh, you're trying to correlate something later in the book with something.
Yeah. Oh, that's a throwback to something that happened a moment ago. Yeah, I experienced that too. I honestly think it's a lot to do with the way that we interact with our phones, and the way that we consume content now.
Potentially.
Like.
But digital books sell better than regular books.
Ooh.
Yeah, but that's because old ladies have access to Kindles.
No, absolutely not.
I love listening to audiobooks to work and stuff.
I do. I like listening to audiobooks. They're good fun.
Yeah, I can dig on that. I like reading books on my Apple iPad.
No, you don't.
I do. It's quite nice. But also,
it's 2018.
Fuck off. Anyway, so Ready Player One. Give us a quick.
Pardon me. Sorry. Yeah, sorry. That's not.
Give us a quick opinion on: is it just fucking
cracking
CGI bullshit?
CGI bullshit and pop culture references, because that's all I'm getting from the trailer.
That is 100% what it is.
And is that all it is?
If I was to point out everything that they did that wasn't already an established cliche or trope, it would be there were large segments of the movie that were entirely CGI, so it is still visually impressive.
Yeah, of course. It looks like trash to me.
It didn't do a single new thing, if you ask me.
Yeah.
And because half of the content was actually other people's content, like video game references. There's even a large scene in the movie, which some people really like, There's a large scene in the movie which is just The Shining. They go into a movie, go into The Shining, and it just plays out several of the scenes from The Shining. So it's like you're watching a movie within a movie, but they didn't actually have to do anything.
Well, I'm pretty keen to see it because I want to. I can't. Obviously, I can't really comment until I've actually watched the damn thing. But
True.
it just seemed it looked like from the trailers. It looked like the peak of nostalgia culture at the moment.
Yeah, I found it fairly obnoxious, the whole nostalgia thing.
Yeah, let's put it here.
Do you? I wonder. I would love to know though. Do you think nostalgia is? I mean, obviously it's hard to say because we're still pretty young. But do you think nostalgia is getting more intense, or some would say worse? And does it matter to you?
It's a really cheap way of getting attention to something.
Yeah.
So I think it's probably important that we all learn to not just fall straight for nostalgia.
Yeah. Well,
so
actually, that's why I was enjoying watch. That's why I wanted to originally talk about Spider-Man 1. This episode is just about Spider-Man 1. I've got to come to peace with that. I've also got it listed here as I've got it listed here as Spider-Man Episode 1, The Phantom Terrace, because they blow up a terrace. Anyway.
Oh yes, they do. Yes.
Anyway,
people get vaporized.
Yeah, they do.
They get turned into a fucking skeleton.
In that scene, he actually says, "We'll meet again, Spider-Man." I'm like, oh my god, really? That's like but perhaps that's why you're correct. It is just having fun. Like, that's not.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to be more than that. Anyway, so I wanted to talk about it though because obviously I had better memories of it because I was thinking of it through rose-tinted glasses, thinking of it as nostalgic value. Upon watching it again, I was like, this is pretty fucking terrible. However, I still could enjoy it. And I still got that nostalgic feeling because there was still bits I was like, yeah, that's great. I remember that as a kid. And same with watching Star Wars Episode 1 or 2, 3, any of the Star Wars movies. Yeah. I'm trying to think of something else. Doesn't matter. But I now also can analyze 1, 2, and 3 and go, well, those were terrible films.
There's a lot to improve on them, yeah. I no longer despise them, but there's a lot to learn from them.
Well, that's the thing. There's still good parts, and I don't like people just shitting on things like that for the sake of it. Because if they enjoyed it as a kid, then they're still going to get something out of it. So I think it's still good to consider them as fun bits of entertainment to watch. But to have them in your head as these marvels of cinema just because you saw them as a kid is... I was going to say dangerous.
Naive.
I don't know what you're in danger of. But my
only
point...
surrounding yourself with stuff with fake meaning. That's what I sort of think.
Well, I was thinking... I was kind of... in my head, I was relating it to... And this is a bit of a stretch. But relating this nostalgic feeling to how people also think of things like family and stuff like that. So people have this idea of what family is supposed to be like when they're a kid. And then when they're an adult, obviously it does not hold up. It's not nearly as pleasant as you remember, because when you're a kid, you don't see all the fighting and all the bickering, but that's happening in the background. But as a kid, you're just running around the legs and bumping into dogs and licking floors and shit. And so when you get
into dogs,
when you get older and you have your own family, like, well, this is bullshit. None of this is working how I remember it. I don't like my wife. My kids are retarded. What am I going to? That's...
Are your parents divorced?
Yeah, they are.
Mine aren't, but they've been separated for almost 2 decades.
Wow. I think it creates this expectation that is really dangerous to live your life with. And obviously, Spider-Man, bit of a different situation, but I still think that kind of bleeds over into the rest of your life. If you remember everything with this filter of nostalgia, then that can actually really harm how you operate in the real world.
Yes, and I think this ties into how memes actually work too. Because when we experience something, it's just we have this base level interaction with it. If we experience it several more times, or at least if we experience it and it was something we experienced when we were younger, it just has this extra meaning that isn't actually like physically tangible. It's just, oh, I've seen that before.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's like, oh, I've seen this a million times, and then suddenly we hate that thing. Or sometimes it's like, wow, I saw this as a kid. It doesn't actually make it meaningful in any extra way just because you experienced it when you were younger.
I feel like it can bring up emotions from what you had at that time, though. Like,
yeah, I agree with that.
like a lot of nostalgic memories you're probably pretty fond of, and I guess you can kind of relive them watching certain things. So
Yeah, for sure. In fact, there's a scent of Lynx, which is like Axe. It's called Axe in America. There's like a flavor of Lynx that's like, it's called Voodoo or something. Every time I smell it, I'm taken back to an exact period of time in my life during high school.
smells are fucked.
Yeah, I think it's like, it's not, it doesn't need to be ignored, but it's interesting actually.
Obviously, music is a huge trigger for most people. Especially listening
however,
to...
I have managed to move on from stuff I liked as a kid.
Yeah, I think certain Jack White songs will come on and they'll kind of take me back. But other things that I've listened to constantly throughout my adult life as well, and have just continuously been on my playlists, like those I'll still remember it, but they won't be as tightly entwined.
Right.
But yeah. Oh, the end of Fight Club. What's that song? Where is my mind?
Yeah.
Do 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 do.
The Pixies.
That's two different songs. But yeah, that whenever I hear that, that reminds me of your place back in Elphinstone.
Yeah, right.
Because that's
I thought we watched Fight Club at your place. No. We watched Almost Famous at your place.
Yeah.
Very important details.
Yeah. Make sure you jot that down, boys.
Every time I have Woodstock, it reminds me of your place at Elphinstone.
Nice. Was that during KR when we all got over and played Smash Bros?
No, that was like when you used to have parties all the time. They used to get hectic and shit would get broken, and we did crazy adventures to Liam's houses for specific items to do things with.
Hey, since you bring up KR, and for anyone who's listening, KR is a meat processing plant in Castlemaine that I think all three of us worked at some point. In fact, everyone who lives in Castlemaine worked at KR, the meat processing plant, at one point in their life. Usually for short periods of time while they figured out that they don't want to ever do that again.
Yeah. Or some are still there.
I worked there, and I also had to do contracted plumbing there from time to time.
Oh, right. Well, everyone tell a horror story. We've all got one, I'm sure. Let's do it. Giles, go.
I was walking in between two really heavy trolleys, and I don't know if you might have seen this, Joel. What they started to fall over.
No, I didn't see this.
Oh, okay. Because they're so heavy, they're really heavy, it started to fall off of a forklift or like a pallet truck.
Jeez.
It fell forward, and if someone hadn't have grabbed me and pulled me down, it would have just crushed me against another trolley.
Fuck.
It I'm surprised they didn't send me home for the rest of the day or something.
No, they wouldn't have even written that up. They would have been like, no one needs to know about this.
Yeah.
Meat processing plant is probably the easiest place to hide a body in.
Yeah.
How many sausages
Do you have a
do you
story
reckon,
about that? About hiding a
many-
dead body in KR?
Well, how many sausages do you reckon you have to spread a body over before it's diluted enough that no one's gonna know?
Oh,
Apparently human tastes like pork, so...
Yeah, well, there you go. Too easy. Yeah, well, it's human flesh is called long pig amongst some communities. There are many different communities of cannibals. I'll search that up. Long pig.
Oh, pardon me.
Mine is not as dangerous. It was just kind of gross. Was because I told them I was studying, so I would only do 2 days a week, and so I would get moved around to different sections of the plant every day. And so they would just get me to do odd jobs because I didn't know any of the machines or anything like that. And there was just one day when they just brought this giant vat over, probably like maybe half a meter high, couple of meters across. So pretty big tub, just filled about halfway, an easy foot of blood, easy foot of pig blood. And they said, right, there's a few bits of skin left in there, like big hunks of fleshy skin that we need to get out. And I don't know why the fuck they didn't just drain the thing, but they were like, yeah, can you just go and get those and put them into a fresh tub so it's not all the blood. I was like, fuck, all right. So I went over to it, and it turns out it had just been in the fridge, like not the main area where it's cold, but not too cold, but it was just in the actual fridge. So it was freezing fucking cold, maybe a couple degrees below zero. And the gloves they gave me were not a foot, not a foot in length. They were just below a foot in length. So I was dipping my hands into this thing, and my gloves just filled up with blood. But it was so cold, and so I could barely move my fingers because they were cramping up, and because the gloves were now covered in blood, filled with blood, I couldn't grip the fucking pig skin. So I was like, fuck, alright, the only thing I can do now, my hands are already covered in blood anyway, so I took the gloves off and started doing it with my bare hands, so I'm fucking, up to my elbow in pig's blood, getting out this fucking pig skin.
Ugh.
Painful as hell. Anyway, that's one story. I love that we worked there because there's just so many good fucking tales. And I only did like 2.5 months, and there's so many good little stories like that.
It must have been within the first week of working there that we were cracking open boxes of big hams, and we had to like slam them against tables and stuff to break them apart. It was pretty... Anyway, lots of ice was coming off it.
Yeah.
So what I did was I started making snowmen when we were waiting for pallets to arrive, and just like little moments here and there where there was some time, and I'd make snowmen and send them down the conveyor belt so that people at the end just see these little snowmen pop up.
It's so much fun. That's the dream. That's what people picture factory work like. Is everyone's like, we're just doing the thing, it's pretty boring, but we, whatever. And you just get to have little moments like that.
Yeah.
It's not like that though.
No,
not at all
it's
like
definitely
that.
No, I got in trouble.
Yeah.
So yeah, they actually don't want you to smile or have fun.
Yeah, just ridiculous. Why are they like? Because it's not like they're paying you shitloads of money, but like if there's nothing to do and there's like 80 employees on one part of the factory floor, like just cut them a little bit of slack. Like they're here, they're doing the job. There's no reason to be dictators about it. It's just ridiculous.
Some people see it as like a super serious thing though. Like their job is like their livelihood, pretty much. That's all they got, and like
true.
that's all they have is their shitty factory job.
That's very depressing, and that's why they beat their wives.
Yeah, maybe not all of them. Not all
That's
of them.
obviously I'm being a bit flippant
Not
there.
all of them, right?
No, obviously not all of them. A lot of people, most people don't. But it's like, I don't know. I always think that when violence, domestic violence and shit pops up, you're always like, well, how miserable is the life as well? Obviously, like that's not like I'm not using that as an excuse. I'm saying like full extent of the law, deal with the situation. But people get pushed beyond their sanity by doing shitty jobs and living shitty lifestyles.
Especially if that job fucks them up physically.
Yeah,
like
totally.
RSI. If you've spent your life going, yeah, I love playing guitar, and you give up most of your time to go to KR so that you can have the money to do that.
Yeah.
And then I don't know, 20 20 years passes. That's how it works at KR. Just decades disappear.
Yeah.
And then you're going, well, now I have arthritis from RSI doing the same task over and over and over again, and I've fucked that up for myself.
There's I was thinking about this with like people have the fear when they want to do something creative or something that feels close to them. They get scared of failure. Obviously, that makes sense. I would much prefer failing at something I really tried at and loved over failing at something I really didn't want to fucking do. Like getting yelled at for something I'm doing at work just makes me feel so miserable compared to somebody critiquing my work or saying that my work wasn't good enough in my art or something like that. That shit, I'm like, that sucks, and it breaks my heart a little bit, but I kind of move on so much easier than if somebody fucking pulls me up for doing something stupid at work. I'm like, fuck you, didn't even want to be here, motherfucker.
That was like the worst thing about working for my fucking dad, funny.
Yeah, right.
I'd fuck something up and he'd just be like, and then I'd go home and I couldn't get away from it and stuff.
Yeah, that would be awful.
Bitch.
Ooh. Just did a big fart.
Oh. Good thing,
this is the guy cast. We're just a couple of guys.
We do farts. Because we're blokes and we live in Australia.
We work at KR.
Yeah, and we smack darts. We punch darts and we fucking munch minge, yeah? He wants to go on a Macca's running me comic.
Hey, it's 2 a.m. and I just can't sleep. You want to go to KFC?
What do you mean you don't do drive-through at 2 a.m.? Nah,
I literally don't understand.
Look, I literally do not care that you were working at this time. I just need my fucking KFC so I can go home and sleep.
Hitting too close to home.
Dude, we're talking real. We're talking shit, but we're talking real.
I don't know if I've only ever done like 2 late night Macca's runs.
I did a Macca's run last time I was at your place, right? I'm pretty sure I spent too much on Macca's and I regretted it.
I remember when we went out for Penny's party, we talked to that homeless dude at the front of Macca's for a bit.
Oh yeah, I do that when I'm drunk in the city.
He was cooked, dude. He was right cooked.
Wait, okay, so which...
okay, it was Penny's party. I'm pretty sure.
Oh
we gave the security guard the joint and we got kicked out.
yeah, we're at the Brunswick Hotel and I offered my joint to the security guard and he kicked me out. But so that's fair.
Pretty hit it, and then he was just like, "What is this?" And you're like, "Weed." And then he walks off, and I was just like, "Oh no."
He starts spitting because he had a little bit himself. And he thought that would stop the effects from taking place, so he started spitting.
Oh dear.
Yeah. I don't know if he'd ever smoked before. Who knows? But
yeah. Oh yeah. I assumed he knew exactly what was happening, and that I was a little bit.
You were very fucked at that point.
Yeah.
I reckon everyone was. I don't even remember getting to that place. I remember just like some guy in a wheelchair kept bumping into me, and I was like, alright, I know you're in a wheelchair, but come on.
That's really funny.
That's what I remember from that. And I remember just like talking to Lloyd about shit. And then we headed there, and the guards kept asking if we were alright, but we're just blazed as fuck. Just sitting down talking. And they're just like, you guys need to go to bed. You guys should leave. And we're just like, nah, we're all good.
I don't remember any of the conversation I had with the homeless guy, but I do... Oh, yeah. You went to Macca's that night, and the homeless guy at the front was talking to me.
Yeah.
I remember it now.
Is this a common occurrence?
Sorry?
Getting drunk and talking to people on the streets?
Yeah, sometimes it yields really good results. I think that's why I do it.
I've had a couple of really good conversations when I'm pissed talking to homeless people on the streets.
Oh yeah, it works for you too.
Yeah, totally. Should work for it. I think everyone should have to do it. I think it should be a fucking law
Yeah.
that once you're 18, you should get pissed
Unless
and go and
you're
talk to the
harassing
homeless.
them. Unless
Oh,
you're
yeah.
just like,
Often people in Melbourne harassed me,
yeah.
especially when I was skateboarding.
Yeah, they'll do it. It's funny how
Fuck
all
'em.
you need is a point of what would you really call it?
It's
Point-
like a reason
point-
for someone to get all their shit out on you
Yeah.
for doing something different.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just having something like my girlfriend Nikki has very bright hair and also usually is carrying a cello, and so she just cops all kinds of shit. Well, not as common as I actually expected, but like that's enough for people. Like they just see you with a guitar, or they see you with a skateboard, or you've got a funny haircut, and
And
they'll
they just project as much as they can.
yeah, miserable time. It's a miserable time.
I wonder if that's a real, like, uniqueness and stuff like that is usually appreciated by certain circles. I wonder if it's a specifically, I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that.
It could
Do you
be.
think-
Well, I was gonna say
I
it could be. I'm just gonna do it. It could
you
be.
go, you go.
Like, yeah, people want to talk to people who are interesting, and they just have lack of inhibition. So they'll just dive on in, but they'll also have these kind of preconceived notions, and also the kind of something holding them back. I'm trying to think of how to word this properly.
Oh yeah.
But like, if they see someone with a cello or a guitar, then they might actually just want to talk to the person with the guitar because they're like, oh, this person is interesting. But in their head, they also don't know how to communicate properly with human beings because they spend their entire life on the defense because
Yeah.
they've gone through a shitty time in their life or whatever. Not to
Yeah.
say that everyone not everyone who's drunk and yelling at people on the streets or just harassing people on the streets have all gone through a bad time, but it does tend to be like younger guys who are all out with the bros, and like if you're in that kind of situation, you are almost guaranteed to be emotionally defensive and on the offensive as well as a
Yeah, it would actually feel quite oppressive in one way or another to be homeless and on the street, and you're watching a couple of guys who are joined in the fact that they care for one another and they're supporting one another, or like they're a team, and it's like the exact thing that you're suffering from.
yeah.
Like from not having. So it's like, yeah, just by virtue that they're happily enjoying not being homeless, it's just like the most annoying thing for probably a homeless person to be exposed to all the time.
Especially if those people are being loud and obnoxious themselves.
Yes. Yeah.
But everyone should get drunk and go out there and talk to people. And I say that just because like you just talk to them as regular human beings, because you're not being an arsehole. You're not as guarded as you are during the day. When you're drunk, you just talk to them, and they're just whatever. There's so many different situations how people got there. But
one time I needed to find a bus home, and I genuinely inquired with one of the homeless guys.
Yeah.
And he told me there was a night bus and exactly where I could get it from.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I just like gave him some money because I was like, well, that's really helped me. So there you go.
Do you want to dive on into what we got? What segments we got? We got the
letter.
Yeah, sure.
The weather.
Let's
All
read
right,
all the
let's
bloody
do it.
letter. It's bloody letter time on
okay.
Coprolalia. You know, one of these ones. She's opened up. Let's really give her a read. Dear Rye, I recently started doing meth.
Ooh.
End of letter.
I'm sorry to hear that, Connor.
Someone just really wanted to let you know that that's where their life was heading towards.
I hope they're not doing meth and listening to this podcast. I don't know if that's going to be a good combination.
That's the only listener we have who is Connor. Yeah.
No. People who don't listen also write in.
Yeah.
Well, oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have more people writing in and calling in than we do listeners. For sure. We do have a new listener though. A proper one.
Ooh.
A real one. Friend on Instagram. So
Welcome.
shout out to
Instagram.
the one other person who might listen to this one.
Yeah. If it's you doing meth, please stop.
Yeah, don't do that. Her art is totally whack though, so I'm keen to see what it looks like on meth.
Yeah.
Maybe just do a little bit. Keep it nice and
Yeah. Keep it cool.
Keep it cool, man.
Yeah.
I will shout her out though. That's a shout out to bloody Semenoxygens.
What?
Links to her shit will be down below.
Which is an excellent name, by the way.
Outrageous name.
Yeah.
There's
Suggests
also a
that you just like breathe it in.
Well, you can't do because there's flour cum. all
Yeah,
through-
true.
It
Actually,
gets
now
in
you
your
mention
face
it.
and makes you get hay fever from it. From
From
flour
ingesting too much flour semen.
cum. Yeah. It's just floating around. You're breathing it in. Flour cum.
I'm also linking the trailer to the first Spider-Man below for anyone who's interested.
Just in case they had not been aware of the phenomenon of the Spider-Man movies.
If you've gotten this far and through the podcast and you have not fucking know what we're talking about, listen again after watching that trailer, and it will make a bit more sense.
Nice.
Giles, did you have what was the other segment we had? I'm just running through them
Things
now.
that we don't like.
Yeah, it's called What Kind of
Things
Crap
that-
Is This? And here's a little intro for it. Take it away, Giles.
Nice. I bought a pair of shoes, right? From Target or something. Big W, maybe. Kmart. And this is true, by the way. I just can't remember the store I bought it from.
Doesn't matter. Just
The shoes,
Take apart
the
the
shoes
shoe.
after less than a month, the rubber is peeling away from the shoe, and the little metal bits that you're meant to tie the laces around.
Yeah.
They started coming out after I tied them up a single time. So basically, I think people who make products that can't even survive a single use should be violating some sort of law.
Potentially there is. You could potentially sue them. There are consumer protection
Yeah, there
laws.
are standards.
I just
So-
don't know how far you're going to get over, like, what? How much were these shoes?
$30.
Well, there's your
Which is not a
problem.
lot.
No, it's not a lot
Yeah,
of
but
money.
but is that my problem or is that like? I don't
obviously,
know.
you can't expect them to last a year.
Is my cheapness being taken advantage of?
I would say a little bit, though.
Dude, if you really wanted to get cheap shoes, just wait till you go on a holiday to a cheaper country. One bada bing, cheap shoes.
I feel like that doesn't fix the issue, though. Unfortunately, just because.
You also need the money to get to the other country.
Alright, so you just gotta look at people like, who's that fat bitch?
Jesus.
Gina Reinhardt. Yeah.
Yeah,
She's Australian, and all she wants to do is fuck the land. So you gotta be
And,
like,
yeah.
there's people out there who just want to make shops, who just want to fuck our lives. But
Yeah.
like, you want some shitty shoes? Yeah, I know you do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fuck you, Gina Reinhardt.
Yeah, she sucks. She does.
Yeah, you should get fracked in your fucking asshole.
We need to have
sorry,
a new.
Gina, but it's true.
We need to have
Yeah.
a new political segment where you just take apart a different Aussie politician every week.
I just hate Gina Reinhardt with a fucking passion, but
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's scum.
I didn't really know any politics besides her. Who else? Oh
Um,
no, I know that guy who's just fucking everyone.
Is It's like the most Australian way of looking at politics. I mean, I totally agree with you, but it's also like, oh, the fucking politicians are fucking us. It's fucking Gina Reinhardt. She dug all that shit out of the ground. Now she's fucked us. And there's a bloke who runs the fucking who was his name? Mr. Prime Minister. He's fucking us.
I just watched the news.
No, he's not fucking us. He's fucking other people in the fucking politics. What's his name? Barnaby Joyce. That.
Oh, yeah.
I know the name, yeah.
He's that farmer guy who's like, yes, I'm a farmer.
That's exactly what he sounds like.
What's he saying? It's like, you can beat an egg, but you can't beat a root.
I have no idea what the fuck that means. What is that?
I'm
What?
trying to, understand
Because you can't beat a root.
Like, you can't punch a root.
Well, like you can't beat having sex. You can beat an egg, but you can't beat having sex.
Okay.
But you
I
can't
don't know why I took that so literally.
But you can't beat an egg. But
you can beat an egg, but you can't beat a root.
Yeah, no, I get I get the wordplay, but I still don't understand what he's saying. Or
Dude,
why
he's like some 60-year-old politician. He's like a baby boomer, probably. He's probably just been raised up and just been like, yes, I'm an excellent boy. Give me money and houses. Everything I say is fucking good.
Yeah, I do believe there was a scandal where he actually... There was a scandal where he slept with his secretary and she got pregnant.
Yeah,
and
he
he left his wife for her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. That dog.
That's sort of not... because it's non-political, it's almost like people... Like, it's a reflection of his character, no doubt. But politically, it has no function. And
yeah, totally.
Sometimes it seems personal.
It shows you who's in charge, though. You don't want some cunt going around fucking other people, you know? Because...
Well, I don't know, because...
I don't care if he's fucking anybody, as long as his policies are fine. Like, if he's a good politician...
Not fucking me.
Yeah.
Hey, look at him. He's already making bad choices. One, he's having another kid when he's like fucking, I don't even know how old. He's pretty old. Two, he just fucked over his kid and his wife.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's having another kid.
Yeah. But it's just like to get into the drama of politics, of like behind the scenes drama. I think it's somewhat detrimental to the actual function of it all.
Yeah, to journalism at least.
I can't wait for a robot overlords.
Totally.
Yeah, a robot overlord would be nice.
Yeah, they can't fuck things.
Well, they
absolutely
can, but
they can.
but I
no, but I mean, like, they can't actually stick their dicks in things.
You seem to be pretty
Why
hung
do I
up
take
on
everything
that.
so literally? What the hell?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, who's the redhead? who's the really racist one we've got?
Pauline Hanson is what.
Pauline Hanson got kicked out of a restaurant. I think it was like yesterday or something like that. I only saw the news, the headline today. But yeah, I saw the video. She got kicked out of a restaurant by this guy who was just shouting at her, basically saying, you're racist. You were fucked over all these people. Now you're fucking over Muslims. So you get the fuck out of my restaurant. And the entire restaurant stood up and applauded this person, which I thought was pretty.
Fuck yeah! Thank fuck.
Great.
Like, how the fuck did this chick get in fucking?
Just fear.
How do these people get seats? How do they get fucking?
Anyone who's willing to defend their own xenophobia will be backed by other people who are just as bigoted as her. So
I think it's as simple as like, not to go into like to great detail because I have no idea I haven't done enough research into how politics works or anything like this, but I think just from a logical...
As long as you have a right to vote, your opinion is as valid as everyone else's.
And I love punching darts and my pussy tastes like sour apples.
Oh my god. Anyway, if you...
Was that a quote from Pauline Hanson?
Yeah. I am Pauline Hanson.
As long as society has I can't be serious now. As long as society has disenfranchised people and people at the bottom of society who feel like they're being fucked over, finding any reason to blame that on somebody else besides the government. I guess like something tangible. So if you have a new group of people moving into your country and you can actually see them while you really don't know how politics are actually working unless you actually do your research, then it's just easier to blame those people because you can see them. It's nice and tangible for people at the bottom, I think. And obviously everything's fucked over. So I guess you're overworked. Everything's dramatic. Everything sucks. And then people like Pauline Hanson or Donald Trump, fucking anyone, will just prey on that kind of shit. And
and as long as there's a disenfranchised group of people, they will be searching for someone who seems to be fighting for them.
Yeah.
Or I think the only reason Donald Trump really got in is because he became a symbol to a whole lot of people, whether or not he was actually doing it. He became a symbol of what they believed was a positive change in American politics. That was just because they wanted someone to be that.
Yeah.
They thought
he
would be it.
Man.
And he was planted by the Russians.
We're getting up to 66 minutes now.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Seems like a better place than ever to end this.
Yeah, my name's Pauline Hanson and I can queef on command.
I wonder if we can say stuff like that. I like that we're saying stuff like that, but we can.
What is it? Parody?
Yeah.
It's parody. It's fine.
Yeah.
And anyone who's listening to this was there's only one listener who we know lives in this country, so no one else. So we can only sway one voter for her. So she shouldn't be too.
If you're voting Liberals, you're voting for the wrong people.
All right, this has been yeah.
Oh yeah.
Fuck all our politicians.
Okay, this has been Coprolalia. This has been a podcast. Where's the other
Goth
one?
Chicks 2020.
If you want to get fucked, just watch the news.
Links to things that we do down below. Yeah. Thanks, Giles.
Sorry.
Thanks, Joel.
Send me some hot goth chicks and titties to Joel on Facebook.
Joel
I'll
at
link
Facebook.
my Facebook in the description below. Thanks for listening, everyone. This has been Coprolalia. Good night.
There were some wonderfully chaotic moments.